reality, $50 a day can do a lot for you depending on what you're selling. I mean, I have a client right now who spends $50 a day and he's bringing in about $6,000 a month. He's a handyman. he's a handyman. So yeah, $50 a day he doesn't get a ton of leads, but he doesn't need a ton of leads. Like if he can get 5 or 10 leads a month and close half of them, that fills his pipeline.
Welcome back to the High Ticket Systems podcast. Everyone, please welcome the one and only Mrs. Jennifer Tamborski. Jennifer, how you doing today?
I'm doing fabulous today. How are you, Jordan?
Fantastic. Thank you so much. It's truly our pleasure to have you on. Now, for those of us that aren't familiar with the name yet or even the brand, can you kind of explain to us like what you guys do, what you guys sell,
Yeah.
and who it's for?
Absolutely. So I'm Jennifer Tamborski. I am the owner of Virtual Marketing Expert and VME Agency. We are a dual track business. So VME Agency is a full service marketing agency that does done for you paid traffic. Virtual Marketing Experts is more of a coaching, consulting, and hybrid company where we do training and development as well as a hybrid model that takes our done for you and our training and merges them together so that at the end of 10 weeks, our clients walk away with not only ads running and working from a agency, but also the control to keep them going themselves so they're no longer dependent on an agency.
I think that's really important. I think a lot of businesses, especially local service businesses to be exact, they just love to outsource things. They love to outsource their marketing, outsource their sales if they could, but they're really good at, being a roofer or being an HVAC technician or being a plumber, as an example, right? However, in business, I don't think it's the wisest thing to do to outsource um, such a strong pillar or foundational component within your organization, like marketing. So I'm really glad that you offer both the done for you aspect and obviously the consulting side. Do you have a question on that topic though? Do you find that, with your niche and your ICP, do you find that most business owners are open to learning how to do it themselves, or they're like, no way, Jennifer, you just do it for me. I want to do this over here. Just get me leads and I'll have fun.
I think it's 50-50, honestly. The people who come into the agency side of things generally are like that. They abdicate their marketing. They just want someone to do it for them. That being said, I'm finding more and more often that there are business owners out there that don't understand their marketing at all. They have abdicated it to an agency. And then when that agency stops working in whatever way, because I'm not going to drag on agencies. Like they do their jobs well. But there are reasons sometimes that ads stop working or your funnel stops working or whatever happens. And that business owner decides to leave that agency. What's actually happened is they have no idea what worked, why it stopped working, or anything else because they've abdicated everything. So if we can help those business owners to understand the what, why, and how of what they're doing, they're better able to keep that momentum going. Because, in all honesty, marketers, agencies, all of us, we have our own thoughts, but it's not our business. It's yours. And so if you don't know the inside out of your business, how are you expecting someone else to? So I really do think that there's delegation, which absolutely delegate to a done for you agency if you're at that level and you just don't have the wherewithal to run ads or that kind of thing. But at least understand why you're doing it, what you're doing, and what they're doing. And the same goes for, those businesses who need ads and can't afford agencies yet. Because in reality, a done for you agency runs at least $3,000 to $5,000 a month. That's just reality. That's before ad spend or anything else. Very few people have that financial cash flow to do that long term. Because sometimes it can take a couple of months before you're like getting your ROI, not necessarily from the ads, but from the agency fees as well. And that tends to eat into people's capital. So if they can start out with campaigns that are working, take them over, get that cash flow coming in, and then scale it to a point where they're like, okay, I have plenty of cash flow coming in. I can have, I have $10,000, five to spend on ads and five to give an agency without it harming the rest of my business. That's really when people are ready to hire agencies long term.
Right. If you're not making at least, I don't know, 30K a month consistently, I think it's very difficult to start spending the capital necessary to
Yeah.
see an actual ROI. Because you could spend $50 a day, but like, what is that going to do for you?
In
You
all
know what I mean?
reality, $50 a day can do a lot for you depending on what you're selling. I mean, I have a client right now who spends $50 a day and he's bringing in about $6,000 a month.
What
So
like you said, what do they sell?
he's a handyman.
A what? Handyman?
He's a
A
handyman. Yeah,
handyman? Got it.
he's a
Okay, okay,
handyman.
okay,
So
okay.
so yeah, $50 a day he doesn't get a ton of leads, but he doesn't need a ton of leads. Like if he can get 5 or 10 leads a month and close half of them, that fills his pipeline. So it all just depends. The actual spend depends on what you're selling and how you're selling it.
Hmm.
That being said, at least $50 a day will give you information and data. Is your message working? Is your offer good? Is it like all of this stuff that you get to test with ads rapidly? You can spend $50 and understand a lot about what your audience is connecting with.
Great, no, great talking point for sure. I do want to backtrack a little bit. I think someone told me this. They said, you know what's worse than like winning, like having a successful marketing campaign is having a successful marketing campaign and not having a clue as to why it was successful. At least from your lessons or like the losses, which are lessons. It's like, oh, well, I know what not worked, right?
Yeah.
Like these three campaigns sucked, this messaging sucked, and I understand why it didn't work. But when I have a successful campaign and you're, a little not ignorant, but like you just don't have the business acumen to understand why it worked, it's like, damn, well, this is working, but like I have no idea why it's working. You know what I mean? So you have to understand that the principles and like the philosophies with online ads. And it sounds like you only not only dial in, but like you work on the meta side of advertising, correct?
I do. So our agency actually runs Meta ads, YouTube ads, and LinkedIn ads. The
Oh,
consulting side generally focuses on Meta ads because I've already built the course for Meta ads and all of that kind of stuff. So, and also there are like 3 billion people on Meta. If someone tells me that their clients are not on Meta, they're lying because there is not one person, unless they just don't use social media at all. Like they are on Meta, either Instagram, Facebook, WhatsApp, Threads. Like there are 4 different platforms through Meta right now that you can run ads to. They're on Meta. It's just a matter of finding the right audience, the right messaging, and the right funnel that's going to bring them in.
no, for sure. When you are working with clients on the done for you side, do you utilize like video content? Do you build their funnels?
Yeah,
I guess what does all that include? Yeah, you do.
all of the above. I mean, we've had clients that some of them, they're static images that is just an image of them and some copy printed on it, or just a plain background and copy on it works better than anything else. But there are other clients that need face to camera or need B-roll. Their audience just reacts better to those things. So it is about testing, right? Once you've hit my general strategy with testing is test the messaging on static images first, see what's hitting, what are people clicking on, and then take those and convert them into different formats to see which one your audience is going to react to best. Is it a carousel? Is it a static image? Is it a B roll? Is it face to camera? And then you just keep going with that.
No, for sure. And I think it also depends on the complexity of your offer, right? Like if it's an offer that everyone knows, like, oh, get a new roof for XYZ dollars, right? As long as your offer is appealing, then you can just slap it on a static ad and people know exactly what you're talking about. If you're selling like, I don't know, some new technology, like a SaaS product or just something that's new, I don't know if static ads are the best route to go because again, you have to articulate what the hell the offer is, explain the USP, why it's different, etc. So therefore, like face a UGC or a talking head for that specific ad, I think would
Yeah.
perform better. Let's see. For the consulting side, do you find so with the consulting side, you do run their ads briefly, for one,
Right.
2, 3 months, and then you
We
kind of turn the key over to them. Yeah.
Right. So the way that that program works, the predictable clients program works, is that it's a 10-week program. Week one
Okay.
and two are onboarding like we would in our general agency, right? We do your strategy, we do your copy, your creative, all of the things, set up your ads. By week three, your ads are live. So week 3 to 7, so 4 weeks, we're running ads for you. We're doing all that things. We're sending you information on what worked, what didn't work, why we changed things. The client is also taking a course that's already been built so that they understand how to run them themselves and can ask us questions along the way. So they start to learn how we think about what we're doing and why we're doing it. Then week 7, it gets turned over to them. So for 4 weeks, they're running their ads themselves with us in the background of in case of emergencies, right? Or just questions like, this ad seems to be not working as well as it was. Why? Kind of things. And so we're there kind of coaching them along until the end of week 10.
Okay, solid. How do you? Who would you say is your best ICP? Best meaning, if they work with you, they get the best results every single time.
So historically, I have primarily worked with coaches, consultants, course creators. Like I've been in the business for 20-ish years. And that's been historically who I've worked with. However, in the last year or two, I've had a lot more local businesses coming in the door, like the handyman I was telling you earlier,
Mm.
who need this type of service because they don't have the cash flow to hire an agency. But they might have somebody in their office that answers their phone that could actually just do the ads if they knew how. So it is a combination. Now I will say it's service based business owners. I don't do e-commerce. I don't sell widgets. I don't sell T-shirts. I sell a lot of times. It's not that there's not a transformation or a product at the end. Like a handyman obviously comes in and paints your room. But it's usually about a transformation or a service rather than actually something they can hold.
For sure, yeah. E-com ads, it's entirely different ballgame and
It
completely
is.
different than the marketing that you and I utilize. I had a question and I freaking forgot it. Give me one sec. This always happens to me.
Totally fine.
Funnels. Thank you. Okay, great. So when you're
Love
working
them.
when you're working with a coach, consultant, or a course creator, can you describe your psychology behind crafting a highly converting funnel?
Right. So funnels are all going to be dependent on what they're selling, right? Um, I don't have a one size fits all strategy. I'm very much, this is customized to the person because somebody who doesn't do well in front of a camera, like they're just awkward for whatever reason, a webinar is not going to do well for them, right? Or even a VSL. Those aren't going to do well for them. So maybe we do something like a download or a quiz or something like that still gives the value that they were going to give in the other options, but without them being in front of the camera until they get on a sales call. On the other side of that, for people who are great at teaching or educating, then webinars or courses or low ticket offers, or like there's a million ways to create a funnel. So I do think it's very custom to who the person is and what they're selling. I will say, in today's meta universe, low ticket offers are incredibly valuable to sell high ticket offers. Because
Low
when you
ticket to
bring,
high.
yeah,
Mm.
if you bring someone in and they buy something for $47 or $97, you can then sell them. I had a client, they brought him in at a $97 offer, upsell them to $497, and then sold a $12,000 offer. That was their funnel, and it was incredibly successful. Talking 75K months successful. Um, so we've found over the last year or two that low ticket offers have been incredibly successful to sell higher ticket offers.
I cannot agree more because the mindset behind a $47 buyer versus a free download is
Yep.
fucking vastly different.
Yep.
Vastly different. Um, let's see here. Oh, you said something. If they are not a good talking head like me, have you heard of a Google slideshow VSL, like a
Yeah.
deck better? Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. That has worked. I don't own an ad agency now, but when I did, that is essentially one of the ways that we would, I guess, change the VSL into a deck sales letter, and it worked like a charm. Like you said, webinars do crush, depending on if you can articulate yourself well, if you can hold the presence of a crowd, and also kind of how complex the offer is. If it's a
Yeah.
brand new business opportunity, like a biz op offer, then I think webinars do perform a little bit better because you have to like explain how everything works, blah blah blah. But with VSLs, if it's an offer people kind of semi already understand, like a VSL, like a 3 to 5 minute VSL crushes, freaking
Yep.
crushes. Do you add any text at the bottom of that video, or is it just like headline, subheadline, video, call
So
to
if we're
action?
talking about the video in the funnel, whether it's a webinar or, so I will say this about webinars, at least in today's day and age, live webinars work a whole lot better than evergreen webinars. People are
Yeah,
tired of evergreen webinars. If you can get in a live webinar and can create interaction in there, they're going to convert better. VSLs always have some subtext going on because somebody may be in their office when they sign up for something and like can't actually listen to you. They have to read. So I would say on that front, but I do agree with you 100%. A webinar is better when it's something that's very new that people haven't heard of. Like our predictable clients program is very different than anything else out in the industry right now, and so it does require some explanation on why people would want to buy it. So a webinar is good for that. But if you are someone who sells, I don't know, you're a bookkeeper and you sell bookkeeping, a VSL can be incredibly productive for you.
absolutely. Question on the webinar: do you have direct to checkout where they buy after the webinar, or do you have at the end of the webinar a call to action to schedule a call with the sales rep,
I
and
have
then they
both.
buy ticket?
I
You
have
have
both.
both.
And I would say, so I have a, because I love rewarding action takers. So if someone's going to buy immediately, I will give them a little bit of money off. So I have a
Yes.
$500 discount for buying on the webinar. So they have a
Yeah.
checkout page. And then the second slide after that fast action bonus is a, hey, if you still have questions, here's a link to book a call. So they can
Mhm.
still get on a call with me. I think that's a way to kind of bridge the gap between the two, because there are going to be people that are ready. They don't want to talk to you. They really don't. Like there are so many people out there that just don't want to have a sales call and they're ready to buy right now. And you want to make sure that you're capitalizing on that. But there are also people out there that they're just not sure, is this right for me? They just need a little bit more, especially cold traffic, right? You've run ads, this is the first time they're ever meeting you. They need a little bit more warmth, a little bit more hand holding along the way, and so having both of them kind of covers all of it.
Yeah, I could not have said it better myself. There are some people who would love to just purchase directly, but others, they just want to ask a couple questions. You know, they want that little extra certainty before purchasing a 5K ticket size, as an example.
Yeah.
I'm going to say a name, and I think you know who this is, and if you don't, you need to look this person up right after this podcast. You will love this man. Do you know who Jeremy Haynes is on YouTube?
I do not. That is not someone
Okay.
I follow.
Your jaw's gonna drop after you watch just one of his videos. So, when you are conducting VSLs, do you implement any back end selling systems for VSLs? What I mean by that is after they consume the VSL, they typically book a call for hopefully 72 hours or less. Do you have any content, emails, pre-framing material that gets delivered between booking and live consultation?
Absolutely. You
Talk
have
to us,
to. You
talk to us
have
about
to. Here's the thing. And yes, hopefully it's 72 hours. I generally don't let someone book more than less. It has to be less than 7 days. If we can get them faster, great. But once they've booked, all of those thoughts, that itty bitty shitty committee in their head starts going on and on and on about like why this isn't right or what could go wrong or all of those kind of things. All of those negative thoughts start happening. So having emails coming in that validate why they want to continue to talk to you, to buy from you, all of that kind of stuff is essential. Case studies, social proof, any kind of content. I've used my podcast in the past as just validation content, because you have to keep in mind, especially if they come in through a VSL or a webinar, they're pretty freaking cold still.
Yes.
So the more you can offer them of, I actually know what I'm doing and talking about, the better off you're going to be long term.
Absolutely. So the way he breaks it down, and I'm not coining any of this, but there's trust assets and sales assets. Sales
Yeah.
assets are like VSLs, like behind the system walkthroughs, like shit that you would create to fucking sell somebody, right?
Right.
Trust building assets are your podcast. There are third party reviews or a video testimonial, shit like that. Or like literally you going on Reddit, creating a video of you going on Reddit and looking up your company name and like going off, like reading the reviews that other people have left you. Like that is a trust building asset. So yes, those crush. When you do implement those two strategies, back end selling systems or trust building and sales assets, not only do you turn cold traffic into laydowns sometimes, you also increase your show percentage. Whenever you're dealing, with cold traffic, depending on how dialed in your systems are, people that are seeing like a 30, 40, hopefully 50%, or not hopefully, but like 30, 40, 50% show rate. A good KPI to like really, really aim for is like 70, 80%. And what I do or have done in the past to increase that show percentage is not allowing them to book past 72 hours. I know you said a week, but we forget what the hell we ate for breakfast yesterday
You are
morning.
right.
Like, we're going to forget we have a freaking sales call coming up in like 5 days from now. You know what I mean?
You are
So
100% right on that. If you can, the faster you can get it in, or the shorter the time period to get them into a call, a million times on that. It's going to be. It's why, like, after when I do live webinars, after the webinar, I actually have the day unblocked for the rest of the day, so someone can book a call immediately on that same day. And I always do them on Wednesday so that I have Thursday and Friday to take calls, so that we're
I
not
was
rolling into the next week or rolling over the weekend.
I was just going to ask you, what days do you conduct your webinars? Now I know. What time do you conduct
I
your
do it at
Wednesday
11:30 in the morning, 11:30 Central Time. It it
Central? Okay.
crosses it crosses a lot of the time zones. There's not a perfect time. Like, if
No.
you're, especially if you're targeting nationally and not like locally, there's just not a perfect time. So 11:30 Central is 12:30 or Eastern, and it's, what is it, 9:30 Pacific. So it kind of gets those morning people and lunch people all at the same time.
For sure, and it definitely does depend on who your demographic is, right?
For
I,
sure.
I've heard other gurus say that you should do it at night. Like if most of your people are working a 9 to 5, how the hell are they going to watch your webinar when they're working, bro?
Absolutely.
you
If
know?
your clients are working in corporate, do it in the evening. Do it on a weekend, like when they're not
Yes.
working. My clients are obviously entrepreneurs. They set their own schedule for the most part. So,
Right. No, no, I wasn't
yeah.
critiquing,
Yeah.
but just
Yeah.
throwing that out there. I assume that you're running ads to drive traffic to your webinar.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Talk to
Yeah.
us about the Andromeda update and what your thoughts are and how we can combat the Andromeda update.
So the Andromeda update has been it's a bit of a learning curve. It was like the iOS 14 update, right? It threw a wrench into everything and just had a bit of a learning curve. The reality is right now, Meta is pushing more and more and more into the AI, like allowing them to do things for you rather than hyper targeting like we used to, or things like that. They also have all kinds of buttons that they've turned on and off that are irritating, but that's beside the point. The big things that you need to know about Andromeda is the amount of content you need.
There you go.
To test, you're probably looking at a minimum of 15 to 20 pieces of content. And when I say pieces, it doesn't necessarily need to be copy and headlines, because I'll tell you something about ads. 90% of the people don't read the copy.
No.
It really is the creative that make ads work. So if you can have 15 pieces of creative, Meta wants you to be running 5 to 6 of them at a time. I don't all the time, because Meta has stupid ways of looking at things. So sometimes you have to turn things off because Meta thinks it's producing, but it's not really producing because it's looking at like your click through rate, which may be 3%, but then no one's actually registered. So you've just spent $50 to get people to land on your page. That doesn't make sense because it wasn't bringing in the right people. So that is their current, like if you talk to any of the Meta customer service, and I use that term very loosely, people who work for Meta, that is what they're going to suggest, is for you to be using 5 or 6 pieces of creatives at a time to test. It is a volume of testing things because of the way they're doing things run out. Now, I will say their AI creatives are getting better. They used to be really, really bad. But if you give them a blank background with just some copy on it, they'll take the copy and they'll put it on different images. And you
Okay.
can create 15 pieces of content with one messaging angle and let Meta play and see what happens. So those are some of the things that, that they've kind of been leaning into. I don't really think Andromeda is that scary in all reality. I think people played it up a lot more, just like they did with iOS 14 and 15. There was this big fear. It really was just a matter of adjusting how we're working with it.
No, for sure. From my understanding, it's essentially ad fatigue on
Mm-hmm.
steroids. So let's go pre Andromeda. If you had a killer video and messaging was dialed in, it was getting all sorts of traffic that was premium traffic. That can probably last you 6, maybe even 9 months, that one freaking ad. Now with Andromeda, you're lucky if that one video creative gets you, I don't know, 2 weeks, 2 months max, right? Now here's the freaking catch. If you have, as you're saying, 5 or 6 different videos or static ads inside of that campaign, because you have a diverse group of ads, that one ad that would have lasted 9 months pre Andromeda can now, today in Andromeda, still take you 6 to 9 months, as long as you have the other diverse creatives in that
Yes.
campaign. And that's basically it, dude.
And
That's
that's
basically fun.
yeah, that's the idea behind it. What I've seen in practice though is, yes, Meta does, you'll have one winning campaign, but your cost per lead or whatever will tend to go up because Meta's feeding money into all of the things that aren't working, which is why I said you are correct in that you need more volume of it. So my suggestion is, rather than having a ton of random messaging, find a couple of angles that work and then create them in your static image, a carousel, B-roll, face to camera. So all 4 of them are saying the same freaking thing, but you at least have 4 different types of creatives running, which feeds Andromeda without
Mhm.
diluting what you're trying to do.
Right there, I think you nailed it. That is the diversity that Meta's looking for. It could be the same message, but like you said, static, B-roll, talking head, those are entirely different angles in Meta's eyes, right? And one more thing that I learned from Jeremy Haynes, if you haven't realized, huge fucking fan, but he was saying, ask yourself all of, like, think about all of the reasons why someone would purchase your product or your service. And if you really, really boil it down, there's not just 3 reasons. Like there's 10, 15 reasons. If you really, really freaking think about it,
Yeah.
right? Now, once you have this answer or these answers, you would essentially want to create content based on all 15 different reasons because we are trying, Meta, when I say we, I'm Meta all of a sudden. Meta is trying to personalize the algorithm and our feed just so we stay on the platform more, right? Now,
Yeah.
the way that we can get our ads to convert more is if we have a diverse set of messaging and a diverse, oh fuck, I don't know what to call static and B-roll and video, but like
Just
how that's a
creatives. Yeah. Diverse
different format.
creatives.
Thank you. Different formats because I'm going to convert a whole lot better on a static ad opposed to me watching a video.
Yep.
Just whenever I'm doom scrolling, God forgive me. Whenever I'm doom scrolling, I'm not
Full
gonna watch a
story.
video, bro.
I don't
And
watch videos either. That being said, I will. a video that has like static copy on it, that just has like a video running in the back, B-roll, but the copy doesn't move, it's static copy, I will land on that. I will stop on that. I will read that. But if the
Because you're
copy
reading,
is
right?
right, exactly. If the copy is moving and I have to wait for the next thing to come up, you've lost me.
Right, right,
But
right,
as we
right,
said earlier, we're both a little neurospicy, so our attention span isn't necessarily as high as some other people. And that's why creative diversity is important, because some people need that face to camera communication, and some people need to watch a little bit more or have that engagement a little bit more or scroll it through a carousel. Some people really like the carousels.
right, right. No, so true, so true. I want to talk to you about your structure for the webinar, if you don't mind.
Yeah,
How, if you can give us timestamps on like for the first 5 minutes I do this, the next 5 minutes I do this. Obviously generalizing here, but yeah, do you
right.
mind going into that?
Not at all. So I've tried a million different ways. Like, I've been in this business for a very long time. What I've found that works well with my audience is getting them engaged really fast. So the
Yes,
first five
yes.
minutes isn't teaching anything. It's literally engaging them with, I have a couple of questions in there, and I'm just going to give some generic ones. It's, type of thing. But like questions about where are you at revenue wise? What's your problem in business? And give them three options. That way you don't have people raising their hand necessarily, but they're engaging in the chat. So it gives you a multitude of benefits. One, you're getting them engaged really quickly, but two, you're also seeing, like, if these are the three or four things that I think my ideal clients are having a problem with, and you see 90% of them pick B, then you need to create more content around that, right? So it's that whole quiz kind of opportunity there. I do, at the end of those first couple of questions, open the floor to one or two people and say, hey, do you have a problem right now that you would like some feedback on? I look at that from the perspective of, these people don't know me. And if I can give them a reason to listen to the rest of this, we're going to be 100% better. Then I move into it's like 3 slides of, these are your problems. Like, this is your problem. This is your pain point. This is why it's a problem. Here's who I am. Introduce me. And then I go into a little bit of like, here's what the offer, like teasing the offer, not necessarily laying it out there, but teasing it, case studies, the offer, investment, close. It's pretty much it.
No, no, you're good. I think you said something really valuable, and I want to articulate myself correctly and properly here. On a live webinar, you are taking the time to open up the floor to your listeners, your viewers, and provide them value for free. Like you said, that builds trust. It builds the law of reciprocity. So it builds goodwill, and more importantly, it showcases your expertise, right?
Yeah.
So to kind of go into a little bit of what we do at a high level, we run cold email. I used to own an ad agency. You said it earlier on the pod. The barrier to entry for businesses to partner with an ad agency is a lot higher than partnering with a cold email agency. Now, what really separates us, there's two things. I'll ignore the first one. The second one is we don't ask for time in the call as the call to action in the email. We say, hey, we have this free lead magnet that's personalized to your company. Do you want me to send it over? Like, who doesn't want a free deliverable? Who doesn't want a free value thing, right?
Right.
So typically they say yes. And why it works so well is because it's personalized to the company. And two, like it's good. Like it's showcasing our expertise. It's diagnosing problems. It's giving you action items to take if you wanted to implement this on your own, or you can just pay us and we'll do it for you. Right?
Yep.
That's essentially how me and our clients generate sales. And getting back to leading with value just builds so much goodwill with your ICP because maybe in today's age, I was like this as a younger business owner and a younger sales rep where I wanted to sell. I'm like, fuck giving value. I'm like, I want your money. I'm trying to sell some shit. You know what I mean? But I had to learn that value first always, always feeds you.
I will say yes and to that. Yes, value is definitely important. And if you over deliver value, if you give them so much that they don't freaking need you, then why are they going to pay you? So I think there's this delicate balance. And also on the other side of it, that's why I love low ticket offers so much, because you can provide value and someone's paying for you. I tend to believe, while my webinar, yes, it works, it's great, it's all of the things. I tend to believe that people, more often than not, it's why webinars tend to convert at such a low conversion rate. Like if you get 10 to 20% of a conversion rate on your webinar, you're doing great on average.
It crushes, yeah.
Exactly. But I think 10 to 20% of a conversion rate on a webinar is mainly, or lower, is mainly because people don't value free things as much as they do things they've paid for.
I agree with that.
So if you have
The more you
even a
pay, the more you
$27 offer, even if you charge them $27 and you give them value and you help them do whatever the thing it is you do, it is definitely going to be more productive long term, because you're bringing in people who they valued
get.
what you were giving them enough to give you money.
I do agree with you on that. Have you heard Alex Hormozy say, like, give away everything for free, sell the implementation?
Yeah.
That's kind of my philosophy with doing the lead magnets. Is we maybe we don't give away the whole farm, okay? But we give a
Right.
lot of information away
Right.
for free. And because it's like, damn, this person knows what they're talking about. This is clearly the expert. I don't have time to implement this on my own. Like, I'm a busy entrepreneur. I have a small team. Like, there's other freaking fish I have to fry. I'm just
Yep.
gonna pay this guy who's clearly the expert to do it for me. So I see your side. I also think that it
I
depends on who
will
the audience is.
That's what I was going to say. It depends on what you're selling. Because I will say, for
Mm.
those of us that are implementers, yes, that makes perfect sense. Like, this is all of the things that could be done. We'll take care of it for you. That makes 100% sense. But if you're out there selling, I don't know, you're a life coach or whatever, and you're selling confidence, whatever. If you give them
Sure. Yeah, yeah.
everything, they they don't they feel like they already know it, and then they don't need to buy from you.
But I also feel like with coaching and consulting, they're paying for that accountability. They're paying for that support. They're paying
Sometimes.
to ask questions.
That's While that is true, that's not why people actually buy.
Why do
That's
they?
not why they're buying. They're buying because they think you can fix whatever their problem is. So if they feel like you fixed that problem because you gave them 3 things to do without them paying for it, then they don't need you anymore. And it is
So
very much a mindset type of thing.
what do you mean by mindset type of thing? On whose part? Customer or seller?
A little of both, but
Okay.
primarily the customer. A buyer journey, if you're looking at it from that perspective, and it's going to depend on who your buyer is, right? But a lot of buyers, if you come in and you're like, here is the blueprint to fix your life, here you go, 80% of them are going to go, okay, great. I just do this, and this. And then they're going to set it
Usually.
on their shelf. They're not actually going to do it, because you and I both know they're never going to do it. But they're also not going to pay you for it, because you've already given them the blueprint. So they know what they should be doing. And because they know what they should be doing, they think they can figure it out themselves.
Right. Why would I pay you if you just gave me the blueprint?
Exactly.
Got you. With offers that we help clients scale with, I will say it's less of an info product like coaching or consulting and more so like a done for you service. And I think that difference right there is what allows sure clients to be successful.
Absolutely.
But I will wholeheartedly agree with what you're saying because as you and I sound like we're pretty similar. If you give me the information, I will take action. If it's something I actually want to learn, right? So if you give me all the freaking, all the gold for free, thank you so much. I'm gonna take that shit and I'm gonna run. you know?
Exactly.
So yeah,
Exactly. So I
that makes
just
sense.
think there's a balance. It all depends on who you are, who your audience is, and what you're selling. I think, and there's a it's not really a good or bad. I
For
think you
sure.
can try both and
100%.
find out which one actually turns it. And that's one of the things I love about marketing is that I actually look at it as kind of a science experiment.
It
I actually
is.
I have a biology degree, and so I the scientific method is kind of how I run marketing. And so we create this hypothesis, we test it, we look at the data, and then we make
Yep.
changes from there. So if you
Yep.
have two different hypotheses running at the same time, two science experiments, and find out, just be very clear about tracking it. So you actually, like we were talking about earlier, you know what actually worked, not what didn't work. Yes, that's important, but you have to know what's working.
Yeah. Yeah. There's no worse punch in the stomach than that right there. Do you want to change direction slightly?
Yeah.
What are you looking forward to in 2026 for either the consultancy side or the done for you service side?
Um, I actually, so again, going back to the whole neurospicy thing, I have an attention span of a gnat. So I love the consulting side of things. I love the hybrid side because we're constantly bringing in new things. And my favorite thing to do is strategy. Like I love looking at like the whole picture, your offer, your messaging, everything, and coming up and developing the strategy. So for every client that comes in the door, we get to develop a new strategy for them. And that makes me the most excited. It's not that I don't love, like I do think with a done for you side of the agency, for me, I'm not looking to build 900 people under me, right? I like the more boutique side of it. So there's a cap on how many clients we can come in. But with the consulting side, because it's 10 weeks, I'm constantly bringing in new clients with new ideas and new projects and new programs and all of that kind of stuff. And I love that.
Have you thought to yourself what your capacity actually is? I was talking to my dad earlier today because not to toot my own horn, but we're actually going pretty rapidly, and I'm like, I have to hire like again because I'm gonna
Yes.
like kill myself if I don't hire. Not literally, but like there's a lot of work that has to fucking get done, right? And he
Yeah.
asked me, he's like, have you thought about how many people you can take on before you need help? And I'm like,
Yeah.
that's a
Oh,
good fucking
absolutely.
question. So, yeah. So, what's
Absolutely.
your answer if you don't mind going into
So
it?
for the done for you side of things, I actually sat down with a fractional COO who we mapped out like this whole thing, like this whole plan of like what the capacity really was.
Yeah.
And for the done for you side, it's 6 clients, right? At 6 clients, which we've already gone beyond, but whatever. Like at 6 clients, for every 6 clients, I have to hire a new ad manager because I don't have the capacity, and I don't, most of the ad managers don't have capacity beyond 6 clients, right? So for every 6 clients, we have to hire someone else. um, Hiring a project manager, and I actually have a graphic design team already that I use, so that's outside of that. For the capacity for the hybrid program, for the predictable clients program, is actually right now 10 clients a month. That's our
So,
capacity. That's how many strategies I'm willing to do in a month, for that. So right this second, it's 10 clients. After, I don't know. I don't know from there where we'll go. But the nice thing is it's 10 clients every month. So every month, 10 new clients are coming in. And my ads team only has those clients for 4 weeks, right? So every other month, they're getting a new set of clients.
no, for sure. I definitely see what you're saying.
I think it's more
You-
scalable, honestly, than the done for you.
it is 1,000,000% more scalable. Again, 50% done for you is 1,000,000% more scalable. Uh, you said 10 strategies a month. Is that one-on-one strategies or like group coaching?
No, that's one-on-one
One-on-
strategy calls. Yeah.
For sure, for sure. Yeah, those are not daunting, but those take a lot out of you. Like it's
I,
deep,
yep.
creative work.
It is. It is. And the reason I do 10 a month is because I can do two. I only, so my workload, the way I've said it, is I work 3 weeks a month in the business. And then 1 week is CEO time, right? Where it may be vacation time, whatever. But 1 week a month, I'm not working in the business, which means that I do strategy calls on Tuesdays. So 3 Tuesdays a month. I can do 3 calls, and then 1 week I'll have a fourth call if we do 10 that month. But that allows my capacity to not burn out.
I was just gonna say that shit. The amount of times I have fucking burnt, I cuss a lot, sorry. The amount of
You're
times I've
fine.
burnt out, dude, from going like, I don't know, 10 plus hour days, 7 days a week, not taking care of my physical health or mental health. I always do some stupid shit to just sabotage my business, my freaking love life, like my life in general, So I'm consciously being proactive about taking some personal time, bro. Like, the business is not gonna destroy itself overnight if you fucking take 1 or 2 days off. You know what I mean? So I'm
If it
glad you do that.
is, then we get to talk about what your operations and your implementation and all of that kind of stuff looks like. Because reality is if you can't take a week off a month, we probably have no one builds a business. No one builds a business to work 40 hours a week or 80 hours a week, 365 days a year. That is not why
Right.
people built their business. They built it for freedom. They built it to be able to live the life they want, all of that kind of stuff. But the problem is a lot of us get into this mindset of a corporate worker. I have to work 40 hours a week. No, you don't. You really don't. You get to structure your business how it works for you.
I get excited. Do you think it's the fucking culture we have in America where it's
Oh,
like
yes.
you need to work, and if you don't work, you're a fucking loser for not
Yes.
working?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. There is the US has it the worst, I think, than anywhere else in the world. But the US
Yeah.
really does have a culture of you have to work hard in order to make money. You
Mm.
don't. You know
It's
how
a
many people
mindset.
out
Yeah.
there don't work hard? And hard is relative, right? It's not that they're not using their skills or their ability or their training or whatever, but you don't have to work 40 to 80 hours a week. You just don't. I work 3 days a week. I work Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. Mondays and Fridays.
That's
Mondays are my intro into the week kind of days, like planning, all of that kind of stuff. Fridays, I wrap up, but I am done by noon if I'm not
oh,
off the entire
that
day.
sounds like that sounds like the life right there.
I will tell you
Jennifer.
though, I am almost
Yeah.
20 some odd years into this. And I did what you
Right.
did in the beginning. I did what you're doing now. I worked
Mm.
40, 60 hours a week. I hit a wall. I literally shut the
Yeah.
entire business down for almost 2 solid years. I had to go through burnout. So,
Yeah. If I can explain, I guess, my burnout story. So yeah, locked myself in my room, worked literally every day for 10 plus hours. I I did not hit the gym, and I love the gym, right? That's just, I played baseball my whole life. I fucking love working out. I love being outside. After like 6 months of that, I basically self-sabotaged my romantic relationship. I went on like a bender of drinking, again, like getting really personal, like a fucking week-long bender of drinking, shut the business down, broke up with my girlfriend, like fucking had to check myself in because I couldn't stop, like all this fucking bullshit from just working too damn much. Like, just take a
yeah.
break, dude. Like, just go outside, look at the sun. But now I'm good. Promise you, now I'm
Yeah.
good.
Yeah, that's
But
the
yeah.
thing. I think not enough people have boundaries around their business, around their business. I always used to say my agency, my original agency ate my life. It did. Like it ate my life. I was in I remember being on a bus. We had gone to Universal with our kids. I was on a bus going over to Busch Gardens and I'm putting out client fires on my phone.
Mm.
You're not paying attention to your family then. You're not involved. You're not engaged. You're not present. And that's one of those like vivid memories. Every time I start to go down that rabbit hole of like, oh, I just need to work more. I'm like, nope, 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 nope. We don't like that. It's not necessary. I honestly can get more work done in 6 hours than most people get done in an entire week. I know that, so I don't feel the need to overwork anymore.
Oh, that's awesome. Jennifer, I did not expect to have this much freaking fun with you, but I fucking had a blast. This is top three favorite podcast for me for sure. I would love to invite you again in like 6 to 12 months to see how things are.
Absolutely.
Get some more game on marketing. But really quick, where can they find you?
So the easiest way to find me is virtualmarketingexpert.com. That's my website. It's also my handle on Instagram, on Facebook, on LinkedIn. On If you go to YouTube, Marketing Matchmaker is actually the podcast that I had going there for a while. It is actually changing. I'm relaunching in June a new podcast. called Beyond the Guessing Game. And so that's coming up. I'll let you know.
No, that's awesome. And we'll, of course, leave all the info in the show notes as well.
Awesome.
But yeah, again, Jennifer, that was really fun. Audience, we love you. We'll talk to you soon.